Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm happy to have you. So my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, I have no idea what we're covering. That's the funny thing. I have no idea what we're covering. I have some ideas, but I'm going to let Spirit kind of tell us what it is that we need to know. So it's kind of going to be blind when we first enter in, but then we're going to get some more ideas, understanding what we're covering. But you're going to know what the video topic is based off of today's title and thumbnail of today's video. I personally do not know, so I will find out later than you do. But anyway, besides the point, this video is being recorded on none other than Tuesday, November 25th at 12:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as of when I'm recording this specific video. And if you want to help out the channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engaging with the content, and sharing this video with others really help boost the algorithm here on this YouTube channel. And just want to keep in mind as well, this video is just for entertainment and educational purposes only as well. And for those who have done just that, and helped the channel in some capacity this past 7 days, I do want to acknowledge you in our community spotlight. It has been given to me by YouTube due to the AI algorithm. We have Shosho1961, Douglas Stevenson, Fridge Picture, James O. Edward. So James O. Edwards. I'm pretty sure it's a little wordy, so I do apologize to you. And Arlene Fornati. I believe I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I do, when I was looking at it, I was like, ooh, it's Italian, I believe. Correct me in the comment section below if I am wrong. I want to make sure I pronounce your name right. Anyway, thank you so much for all you guys for helping support the channel in some capacity. And you feel like you're getting sick of politics in some capacity, or you want a little break, but you still want to see my content, I do also have a cooking channel as well where I teach you guys how to cook. So if that's something that interests you, that video link to the description or to that YouTube channel is in the comment section below. And apparently there's this new thing called hype. So if you want to hype this video, go ahead and do it. I have no idea what it is. I feel like old. But if you know what hype is, by all means, hype the video. Anyway, this video again is being recorded on Tuesday, November 25th at 12:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I'm having an issue here. Perfect. Now my computer's charging. I was wondering why it wasn't charging. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's begin. I hate long intros, and so do you. Alright, so let's find out what exactly that we need to know in regard to today's video. I have some ideas. Now, we just did a video recently about Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG, resigning from Congress, and we talked about briefly the House Representatives being possibly in jeopardy. Now, if you have been with me for a while, a couple of years ago, I did a video, and it talked about how Speaker Johnson was going to become Speaker of the House. But then sometime around his tenure, when he is still Speaker, the House goes blue, or the House goes towards the Democrats prior to an election cycle, specifically a midterm election cycle. Back then, we thought it was going to be around 2022. That's what it's referring to. Now we're getting to the possibility of it actually occurring sometime within 2025 into 2026, more likely 2026 prior to the midterms. I don't know if the probability will be high enough for something like that to occur, but it's not improbable because as we start to get to that momentum, Speaker Johnson will end up leaving his post or position and will be no longer Speaker of the House then on forward. But that also means Hakeem Jeffries. But he has his own baggage. He has his own thing that's coming. So to keep that in mind as well. But in the meantime, there's a possibility the Democrats will be taking the House sometime in the future. That was what I saw back in around 2021 into 2022. We thought it was going to happen during that midterm cycle. It did not. However, that has resurfaced and it become a new possibility since the same players back then are the same players now. Anyway, going back into the second part of this, the reason why I mention is that because there are a lot of Republicans or MAGA Republicans within the House of Representatives who are considering taking a leave of absence as well, to leave or to resign and follow Marjorie Taylor Greene's footsteps. This spells trouble because right now the Republicans are at 219 in terms of representatives overall. If they lose two more, they fall below the majority threshold, which gives the Democrats just enough momentum to push it to where they can retake the House prior to the midterm. Now, is this a strong possibility? No. But if Donald Trump plays this card incorrectly, it could become a very strong possibility. There's that. The other thing is as well that I'm considering doing is a video on Mamdani versus Donald Trump and kind of compare the situation. But I want to do it when I have a little bit more time to be able to really go in depth and in detail. If that's something that so interests you, or is that past the time that maybe I was too late to do that video, let me know in the comment section below. But we're not going to get into today's video. What I'm thinking about doing also with the economy, if you have read the report recently, today it came out with a report that they're not going to report the third quarter earning for the United States in terms of the economy. So I'm going to let Spirit pick and choose. Is it going to be today Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican, or is it going to be about the economy? What is Spirit going to tell us today? It might tell us both, but we'll take a look. Anyway, just want to kind of give you a little bit of context here before we go into the reading. I do apologize, it was a little longer than anticipated. Okay, let's see. Spirit Angel, tell me, what do you want to talk about in today's video? Today is a blind reading video. What do you want to talk about in today's video, Spirit? Give me something of an indication of what to talk about. One, two, oh, no, that's way too many. Give me 1, 2, 3. Now, if you are new here, any color that is white means it's minor, and that color means that it's major. Basically means it's a big deal. That's all that it means. Okay, so it has the what if. Let's read it. We're going to read it like a story and see if it gives us any sort of clues. Alright, so the first card that comes in is what if. So he's given an alternative, a scenario here. What if? What if Wicked, ooh, okay, ironically Wicked, if you guys don't know the time frame here, Wicked is about to go into Blockbuster in terms of Thanksgiving weekend. So we're heading into Thanksgiving, and Wicked is going to be huge during Thanksgiving time frame. So Wicked is in theater right now. The fact that Wicked comes in tells us the story. Now, if you have already watched my video in terms of my second channeling from last year about Wicked, Wizard of Oz, those type of things, I actually take movies and I channel, and Spirit gives me messages in relation to something that is in pop culture. A lot of you guys have been with me for a while. You have seen that type of behavior. If you want to go ahead and watch some of those videos, I'll put that in the link in the description below and at the end of today's video. But going back in, so we have the word what if Wicked. Now, Wicked was founded on the idea that, in the original Wizard of Oz, it was based off of an authoritarian leader who manipulated the storyline to be in a very specific narrative, to tell people that he was the great and grand wizard of them all, that he can do magic and do all these things. But behind that, he had a little mask, and he was not the grand wizard. He had no power. He had no ability. He couldn't do anything. And the Wicked Witch, what he tried to use as the enemy to say that she's trying to harm the city, he was really hoping for her to cast spells and he take the credit for it. But she knew what was up, and that was not the case. And so Wicked tells us the story of fascism. It tells us how authoritarian leaders rise. It's never about benefiting everybody else. It's about benefiting them. What benefits them? So, with that being understood here, what if a benefit for oneself, so that's the word here, benefit to oneself, that's the what if, we have here hide. So hide is reversed. So what if people don't hide what benefits them? What doesn't benefit them anymore? What does? What if people are openly honest with what they do? You know, politics now, everything's so corrupt that people are so willing to blazingly, be open about all the corruption. That's what it's saying. What if you don't have to hide anymore? And here you have it, the shooting star. But now, here's the thing about the shooting star. A shooting star, when you look in the sky and it already passed, right, or you just saw it pass, guess what about a shooting star? You want to know something interesting about it? It's dead. The shooting star is dead. And so when people make a wish, they say, wish upon a shooting star. But that star is long gone. It's traveling. It's a dead corpse in the sky, in the universe. It's just traveling and traveling, infinite, until it lands somewhere. Becomes an asteroid. I don't know. But the shooting star, in essence, is a dead star. It's a dead hope. It's a dead passion. But yet you still wish, because internally you have hope that that wish can come true. But that's all part of manifestation, right? So what does this mean? It means the shooting star. That means even when things are dead, even when things are obvious, when things are corrupted, there's a little bit of hope within us. that things can get better, that things can become grander than what it is now. His spirit is trying to tell us that although there's a scenario of things being wicked, what if politicians just being open and honest about what benefits them and not what benefits the people? But you're going to tell me right now in the conversation, Chris, that is exactly how politicians are right now. That's the whole point. Spirit is saying, what if there's a scenario where politicians are just openly honest about their corruption and how they don't benefit you in any degree? What if they don't hide it anymore? Right? What if they don't hide that? What if they're openly honest about that corruption? It's a shooting star, but here's the thing. Those corruptions, they're long gone. They're dead. Those people that, they think they're fooling, they're dead. And the reason why I'm laughing and giggling, because it's so funny to me how these politicians think that so many people are fooled by that. Because the cards are telling me, not really. You cannot fool all. And that's why the all card is reversed. And now, I know you can't see the color here well, but this is the color blue. It's royal blue. Royal blue. And what does royal blue mean? Royal blue potentially means the collective, means the voice. When you cannot speak to all, when you cannot fool all, you lose. So again, to answer your question, to wish upon a shooting star. Now, speaking of shooting star prophecy, I actually did a video a long time ago, which I'll put in the link in the description below and at the end of today's video. It's the shooting star prophecy. This is actually psychically channeled by me, and it's called the shooting star prophecy. I'm gonna read it to you. I believe it's in this one. Nope, I'm wrong. It is not in this one. It might be in this one, I believe. I believe it might be in this one. I gotta start doing some more psychic challenge because I do like it. If you do like me doing psychic challenge, let me know. Is it in this one? Yes, it is. You can't make this stuff up. You can see here when I channeled this, it was channeled on January the 1st. January the 11th of 2025. And when I actually started, it was subconsciously done at 11:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what is the title? The Shooting Star Prophecy. Now, I did a video on this in the past about Elon Musk and what that in relation to. I'm just going to read to you. And we'll explain it in a little bit. But this, I'm sure, has some sort of connection to what we're talking about in today's video. It says here the Shooting Star Prophecy. Life as we know it will come to an end. A transformation is on its way. Beauty shall grace this planet once again. Nature will reconcile and solve the issues of the modern world. Expect a form of evolution to take hold before your eyes. A new king of the seas and land may take their rightful place on the food web. Those that dominated will no longer dominate in this new world you call home. A new sharkland, a new shaken, will realign the coral reefs and aid in its fast-paced progress towards a better prepared food web. The monsters of the sea will be no more. A new one will emerge to take its place. Humans will not be able to affect the life of seas, for that they adapted. A tidal wave shall grace this world once again. It will bring forth the kiss of life and death. The world will change rapidly, for that many changes are coming. The Pacific Ocean will experience many ups and downs in regards to land and water, like peekaboo. Many will run, for that do not follow the masses, as they are dumb. They will lead you to the grave. Run to safety, so follow the animals, for that I've instilled a compass in all, in time of great emergency. But modern humans lacked it, as you were not my own creation, but rather a byproduct of my original. California and many others shall hear my sound, but they will experience a shaking unlike anything humans experienced since the age of the dinosaurs. Life will resurface that had once again been long gone, but it will not be made by me, but by those trying to be like me, the same way Lucifer did, the angel illumination and knowledge, for that all knowing can indeed corrupt. the very moral subject to his own power. He is not evil, except he can be too much for the many, corrupting those who seek the forbidden fruit of knowledge. Man was not meant to know all that it knows, but somehow consciousness was unlocked for the many, in ways not yet even I can comprehend. I had to make this new world around a new perspective, but for that this is and was never normal, but yet I persisted. The storm you all talk about was never for the many, but by the few, a reset only by and for the few. Everything else remained true and fine. Time has sped up in ways yet unimaginable to us. We fear that evil may reside in the few, that they'll do away with their theatrical animals and world once they found out the potent powers of the metaphysical. Many humans stand up against those seeking power in the world that they themselves do not understand. Do not make a mockery of our worlds, for that we will only bring in what your people have feared. Don't test us. There is a theory. Hold on, excuse me. There is a thing known as too much knowledge. For that, some are already seeking to break down the fourth wall. Elon Musk is one of those people with Asperger's who, in a few, was not reborn of a higher plane, but rather a reincarnation of an evil green society on a different planet he calls home, Planet 23746, 2.6 million light years away, we believe, if correct, from planet Garcia or Gaia. Much is too much. Much is too much, as we agree. He poses not a threat to humanity, but the intergalactic realm, for which peace has existed for a millennium. Don't let him progress the globe as it's not ready for what's coming. Robots and AI will be your new norm, as it should be, where space shall never be for now. That is why Kennedy needed to be stopped. Trump is no different. You are not ready, and we will stop it. Period. Good luck. End of channel at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on January the 1st, the 11th, 2025. Again, this is the Psychic channel. Okay? This is the channel. If you want to go ahead and watch that whole video, I'll put that video in the link in the description below at the end of today's video. But that is the shooting star prophecy. Well, food for thought. I was going to talk about it, but I feel like I don't need to. Nothing in there resonates with what we're reading innately. The concept and everything applies, but there was nothing in there that told me I needed to further explain it. It just told me that you guys understood the gist of it. You understood what Spirit was trying to tell us. Now, what's on the top of the deck here? What's on the top? We have here 2 years. 2 years. Interesting. 2 years for what? What's the bottom of the deck? Gaslight. 2 years gaslight. Gas and light. What happens when you put gas and light together? Now, gaslight in essence is basically when you tell somebody who knows the truth and you gaslight them into believing that they're crazy, that they're insane, that what they believe to know is the truth, though that their eyes. So, like for example, you saw a murder, right? You saw somebody get murdered on the street. And then you go into the jury and the defendant, they start questioning you and they start giving you false ideas and say, you know what? You weren't there, weren't you? You know, it's been 7 days. You know what they say about 7 days? You have a tendency to forget what happened. You start double questioning yourself. They start making you double question so you cannot inflict the crime. It's called gaslighting. But also gaslighting can be as simple as just taking a gas and lighting it up. Gas is the ignition, a fire, a light. Right? So Spirit is telling us, what if the wicked was misunderstood? What if they don't need to hide? Now remember, interestingly enough, Wicked, if you watch the original movie that's out, we have here the what if. This is the alternate. The Wicked series is an alternate perspective, a different perspective. That's the what if. We have here it's about the Wicked. Instead, it's no longer about Dorothy and her journey. It's no longer about the wizard. It's now about Alphaba and Glinda. And here you have hide. What if they don't need to hide the people like the animal by trying to silence them until they couldn't speak anymore? The shooting star, right? That, you don't have to have hope for everything, but hope, a little bit of hope can light the way. And that's really what Spirit is trying to tell us all, is that you don't need these grandeur things. You don't need all these luxuries. All you need is a little bit of hope. And I'm not saying that to have hope for good things to come, but I'm just saying that hope can be a light. It can light your way. It can guide you to where you have to go. So let's take a look. Let's ask Spirit what it is that is telling us in terms of that. So spirits and angels, tell me about what it is that you're telling me. Why is it that you talked about wicked, the shooting star? What is it that you want us to know at this collective? This is definitely way different than what I really walked into. I was hoping for a short video. Instead, it turned out into a 20-minute video so far. The first card that comes in is the Wheel of Fortune reverse. The Wheel of Fortune reverse is a very, very interesting card. Because the Wheel of Fortune, when it's upright, it means going backwards. Instead, this is going in the future. This is going forward. Something about the forward. And I'm hearing the word fall of a king. No, hold on. No, this is wrong. Hold on, is it what I think it is? Okay, so I got confirmation from my guides. This is telling us, and I want you guys to hear this. I don't want you to start celebrating. Okay. If you've been with me for a while, you've been watching some of my most recent videos, and the death card comes in reverse, this normally means permanent death. It means an ending. It means once you're dead, you're dead. It's not coming back. Nothing changing. Here's why. Wicked talked about the ending, right? The death, the fake death. But the Wheel of Fortune, in the future, telling us in the future, not in the past, in the future, when the king is dead. Now, we don't know exactly who the king is being referred to. We can only make an assumption that it's Trump because he is the current king, but we don't know exactly who this individual is. When the king is dead, the emperor is dead, which means reversed. When somebody's seated in the chair, they're in control, they're in power, they're in victory, they're in glory. What they say goes. That's why the card is reversed, because it's no longer in position to power. When the king is no longer alive, be it his death card, this is telling us the story. So it's telling us what we read earlier in the video, was telling us about that glimpse of hope, that shooting star that was dead, right? But you can make a witch. But the star is already dead. It already happened. And, now that I start to think about it and I start to compare the shooting star, right? And we talked about the shooting star, how a lot of people have said that, oh, Donald Trump seems like he's dead inside, we just can't read on him. But what is a shooting star? A shooting star, you can still see the exoskeleton. You can still see the brightness. You can still see it dash across your sky. It's dead, but it's still alive in your eyes, in your perspective. And now we talked about many times before, we did videos of Trump doing black magic and how the angel of death compared Donald Trump to supernatural, and that he is not normal in terms of his inclination and who he is as an individual. But Donald Trump inherently is dead on the inside. But on the outside, the skin and the flesh is still moving and bundling. And it's interesting because somebody asked a while ago, not too long ago, they wanted to know, like, why is it that other psychics see these certain things? And I said it's because the reason why Donald Trump is still alive is because when you have a low vibration, right, and you do all these barely bad things, your vulnerability increases. It increases. But your ability to be secure in your body, to own your body, to protect your body from any entities and spirit starts to decrease, widening the gap. Donald Trump has basically no security system. He has no infrastructure. It's like going into Dollar Tree and robbing Dollar Tree because it has no security. Where you go into, like, Macy's and they have like all these little things on the bags and you walk out and it starts wailing. That's somebody who has strong security system with very low vulnerability. Donald Trump is like idolatry. He's like where people walk in to take as much as they want and nothing can happen. That is what Donald Trump is. So in essence, when you apply that, spirits go into bodies that are most vulnerable. They use those. Donald Trump is the most influential one because he is the one of higher position. For the first time ever, spirits can enter a physical body that holds enormous amount of power. Which is why you ask yourself, Donald Trump does weird things, because that's not really Donald Trump all the time. Sometimes he has fluidity, sometimes his muscle memory. Yes, Donald Trump is there in the background, in the foreground, but he's not the one in the driver's seat. He's not the one driving. He's not the one doing things. Yes, people are saying that, there are other people around him that's puppet master and stealing things. Yes, that's right. But also there are spirits within him that's taken over via possession. Because Donald Trump is a walking clinic. Open 24 hours, things are going in and out, in and out, in and out. That's why you gotta be very careful when you talk about Donald Trump. You gotta make sure you have your protection on. The reason why Donald Trump cannot go through certain problems because he is protected by spirit. Spirits are protecting him. Why? Because he is highly valuable to them. Remember, think about it this way. If you have a soul contract with somebody, and that soul contract requires them to complete a certain goal, a certain avenue, but then they go into a spiritual possession, for example, they lose access to that spiritual contract, but they still have to fulfill that contract before their eventual death. Donald Trump's contract is just sitting in limbo. Because there are other spirits and entities inside him that's making decisions, preventing the longevity in the body. So basically what Donald Trump has, essentially, now that I'm thinking about it and how I'm explaining it to you guys, is a parasite. Donald Trump has a parasite inside of him, and it is keeping the host alive, eating away at him, but doing whatever it can to make sure the host stays alive as long as possible. And Donald Trump cannot pass away until he fulfills his soul contract. So that is why a lot of you guys read on the fact that Donald Trump is dead on the inside, but still alive on the outside. I hope that gives a little bit of clarity, understanding to the reading and why it is the way it is. And I really didn't think that we were going to go into this video today. I thought that this would be a video that will occur when I actually have time, Spirit, because I have to go to work, and they're making me do this right now and like midnight. Anyway, besides the point. That is what this is. That is why it comes up in the future when Donald Trump is dead, or whoever the leader is, whoever this king is completely dead, so whoever this is referring to, what happens next. This is telling us in the future. This is not telling us the immediate now. It's telling us when this happens, this is what happens next. Okay. Here we have is the Magician card. Control, right? The ability to control. What is being controlled? The leadership. So somebody else is in position. So the incumbent is in control. So somebody is in control of something. Someone else takes power. Someone takes control, right? This is the Three of Pentacles. This is empty. It's almost like somebody, oopsie, now I'm president. That type of attitude. That's what it feels like. The top of the deck here, we have the Ten of Pentacles reversed. The Ten of Pentacles reversed means generation, the line of succession, but it's reversed. It means that somebody who is taking over as leader isn't exactly in line for the leadership position. Something's going to happen between the death of a king, whatever this happened, the death of a leader in the United States, and it's going to transition, but not follow the proper protocol in the line of succession. So basically, the line of succession goes as this: President, Vice President, House, Speaker of the House, and then it goes down the list. If this king, this quote-unquote king, is referring to the United States, it will be changed in some capacity. Something changes. Someone's going to step in and say, no, no, no. This is how okay, we're back. They're like, no, no, no. This is how it's going to go instead. And they give you a whole rundown and they try to contest whatever it is that they're contesting. If this is recurring in another country, because we don't really know exactly what Spirit is telling us in terms of who it is quite yet, then it's going to go into the line of succession for that nation, this king or leader, and it's going to follow that protocol. I don't know exactly what Spirit is telling us yet in regards to who this is yet. But the top of the deck does give the indication of the line of succession not being followed. Somebody else who is young is going to take over. This is the Page of Pentacles. They see a golden opportunity. The question is, who is this golden opportunity? Now, I want to ask for a little bit further clarification from the United States Tarot deck. We're going to use this. This is the Dark Eclipse. We're going to use that. Spirit Singers will tell me about the United States in this movement. Oh, okay. Now, give me information about what it is that you're referring to in regard to when this individual dies, this king passes away, what happens next? That was quick. I love how they place the cards for me on the table. That's like my favorite thing for them to do. Okay. What's on the top of the deck? I want to see. Top of the deck here, we have the Sun card in reverse. So something is hidden. What is hidden? We have here the Two of Cups. Union stand. So somebody's happy, somebody's celebrating something behind the scene. We have here on the bottom, we have the 10 of coins reversed, the 10 of pentacles reversed. Ironically enough, it's the same exact card that we just talked about here on top. The 10 of pentacles reversed as well. Medical debt this time. But something's not being passed on, because what happens when you have debt and you don't pay it? It goes on to the next generation. It's reversed. Something ends with somebody. Under here, we have the Cancer. This is 36. This is the Cancer. Who was the 36th President of the United States? Who was the 36th President of the United States? I want to know that. That's important. 36th President. The 36th President of the United States is Lyndon B. Johnson. Okay. When did he die? When did Lyndon B. Johnson die? He died on January 20th, 1969. No. That's up until the office he took. When did he die? He died on January 22nd, 1973 at age 64 in Texas. Interesting. Okay. Could be a Democrat death because if you watched my Thanksgiving video, the second part 2, it did indicate that there was going to be an eventual death, but it didn't say literal. But the fact that death card had come up again, it is a little concerning now. And Lyndon B. Johnson is a Democrat, and the connection between Lyndon B. Johnson and the individual yesterday's reading was that both Biden and Lyndon B. Johnson both dropped out of their re-election bid due to pressure. I'll let you watch that video. You make that determination. But so this card comes in as the Wheel of Fortune reverse. The Wheel of Fortune is something moving forward, right? In the future. What the king is reversed, which means the king has fallen, the emperor. And a permanent death, a permanent ending. There's no coming back from this. The death card. When we start to ask for a further explanation of what is happening after the death of this individual, we have the 6 of Swords. It means we enter into a new phase, a new era in America. We enter into a new phase in terms of presidency. Now, here's the thing. When we did the video yesterday on Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving disaster video, it talked about how Biden, symbolizes the status quo. He symbolized the old system, the old guard, the old structure. When that starts to dissipate, when that image starts to disappear, then it means that we are officially in a transition process into a new style of government in the United States. Now, it doesn't mean that he has to physically die, because we talked about this in the prior video. But it did indicate that possibly an image could be erased, an image could be moved, an image could be changed, indicating the word at the end of early in today's video, the word gaslight. Now, Here we have underneath the death, which is something that's permanent. We have here the connection, the agreement between a political leader and his people. So if you're wondering who this leader is, whether it's in the US or outside, it is talking about somebody who's been agreed upon by the people. The collective energy handing the individual power. So this has to be somebody who's elected, or somebody who's given power indirectly by the people. So this is the Two of Cups. But here's the thing: the United States doesn't have a direct democracy. We have the Page of Cups, the Fool. This is wishful thinking, flawed democracy. So now this indicates this is a flawed democracy. So it narrows down the nation that could experience it. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at flawed democracies in terms of countries, so you guys have an idea who is a flawed democracy. Flawed democracy countries. So we can narrow the gap a little bit. Okay, so here are the flawed democracies. Number one is the United States, India, Mexico, the Philippines, Panama, Israel, France, Tunisia, Bulgaria. The factors that define a flawed democracy, according to the EIU, a country is classified as a flawed democracy based on a score in 5 categories: the electoral process and pluralism, functioning of government, political participation, political culture, and civil liberties. The EIU 2024 report noted a global decline in democracy, where reversals occurring in most regions throughout the United States was rated as a flawed democracy. So at least those in the nation. So it narrows the gap significantly. So we know it really didn't mention any nation with a king, if you notice. So it narrows the gap that this is no longer a king, this is a leader. Okay. The next card that comes in is we have here the Nine of Swords. An upset. Something is being stopped. Something is halted. This is the Knight of Cups reverse. Something is stopped. A movement has ended. A movement has been put in its tracks. But it starts going backwards. Because here you have the Knight of Cups. When the Knight of Cups is upright, it means go forward. But look at the way it's positioned. This person's upset, the Nine of Swords, and this person's bringing the cup here to collect the tears, and then they're bringing it back. They're bringing it backwards. Something is reversing itself, which means we're having a repeat, but in the opposite direction. Something that happened in the future is going to be a repetition of what happened in the past. But here's the thing, and it's going to be a little trippy for a moment. What's going to happen in the future is going to be a repetition of the past. But here's the thing, the past hasn't happened yet, which means that to us, watching this, it is our future. But after that future has occurred, there's going to be something beyond that future that's going to be a repetition of our future that we're going to experience. That's going to be a repeat, but in reversal. I don't know what that means, but that's what it's saying. And then we do also have here as well as we have the resist card. The Eight of Wands, resistance. So when this king dies or this leader dies, there is going to be a formation of a resistance forming. Here we have the building blocks. You remove the building blocks from us. Now we have to build our own. This is the Ten of Wands here. This is the guy who's disabled, who's on a wheelchair. Obviously, he cannot walk up the stairs, but there's an easy solution to make a ramp. This is saying here that you need to find a solution yourself. This is why the resistance comes in, finding the solution. And here you have is the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is going to come from putting your hope and faith in another individual. It's putting your hope and faith within yourself to be able to create that change. So what is Spirit trying to tell us? Spirit is trying to tell us that the only way for us to really overcome that shooting star is to find the hope from within. You know, for a while, we've been looking outward for hope. We've been looking outward for a leader, a politician to help save us, to protect us, to give us what we always wanted. But here's the thing. That shooting star is dead. That politician is dead. They're disconnected from the reality. They're just running for the hell of it. If you want change, you need to be the change that you want to see in this world. I know. A lot of people say that. It's easier said than done. But this is what it's getting here, seeing the resistance and building the blocks and being the change that you want to see. Because you cannot put the change in others. You cannot expect others to make the system better. You have to put in the work to make the system better. That is what Spirit is telling us. That is what it wants us to know. And here, we have the moon card, a revelation. We talked about the sun card before, right? A reveal. What's on the top of the deck here? We have the sun in reverse. This is something that's hidden, but here it's revealed. And here, what is being revealed? The corruption, the risk. High risk, low reward, right? But sometimes you gotta take that. Sometimes you gotta take that chance. And here you have it, the Ace of Cups. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy to cook some things up, but you can do it. The options here is that, yeah, the resistance might be forming, but the resistance is greater than the opposition. So, what it is saying here? It's saying here that when people rise and when they connect together, that little connecting, that little star within you, that shooting star, can really have so much powerful connection, not only within you, but also within others. Because for you, you might be somebody else's shooting star. You may not know it, you may not realize it, but to somebody else, you are their shooting star. And that is what Spirit wants us to know about. I know this video is not really what we expected, but I do find it to be a very, very beautiful reading. And there's that. But again, if you are concerned about Biden or any capacity, I advise you go watch part 2 of the Thanksgiving disaster video. This will give you a little bit of clarity and a little bit of calmness in that video. So go ahead and watch that if you haven't done so already. I'll put that at the end of today's video and in the comment section below. In the meantime, thank you all for watching. I love you. Have a great, beautiful night. Thank you again for watching. I love you. Remember, you're the shooting star.